Yo, back once again with another movie review. And yeah, I know it's been a minute since I dropped my last one, but here now. I know I'm looking old, I'm looking rough, but yeah, that's besides the point. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be more consistent. I know I always say that all the time, and I never drop one, for a while. So I don't know how that's gonna hold up, but I'm gonna try my best, man. I'm gonna try my best. But this review is gonna be for a movie that I've never even heard of up until last night. And yeah, I was just looking up movies on Google to watch, and this is one of the ones that caught my eye. There's a bunch of movies that came up, but this is one of the ones that caught my eye for some reason, and I guess because of the title. And that movie is The Darkest Minds. Now, apparently, this movie came out back in 2018. I never, like I said, I never even heard of this. I don't even know if it came out in theaters. I don't know if it did well in the box office, if it did came out in theaters. I saw the reviews online, and yeah, it didn't really get that good of a review score. So I'm pretty much certain if it did come out in theaters that it pretty much bombed. But I checked it out. Now, I did see it last night, or I tried to watch it last night, but I fell asleep. And that's not because of the movie, I suppose, just because I was tired. So I decided to watch the whole movie again today. And yeah, I gotta say, I really like this movie a lot. It's a pretty good movie. There are some flaws and stuff like that, but overall, I did enjoy it. I like the premise. I like the story. And yeah, so I'm gonna get into what I found that was good about the movie, what was bad. I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up from there, like how I always do. Now, like I said, the good I liked, the thing I liked about this movie the most was the story of itself. It's a very interesting premise. You have this disease that only affects children, and it gives a child certain abilities, and these certain abilities are broken up by color. Like they're broken up in different categories, and they categorize them by color because the kid's eyes light up in a specific color when they have a certain ability. So you have 5 colors. You have green, blue, yellow, which is gold. That's what it is in the movie, but it looks yellow. So we're just gonna go with yellow. So you have green, blue, yellow, red, and orange. Now, the green, if you have the green ability, you're basically like super intelligent. You're super smart. If you have the blue ability, you pretty much have telekinetic powers. You could move anything with your mind, people, any kind of object with your mind. If you have the gold or yellow ability, you could pretty much control electricity. You could create lightning, anything that's around that's electric, you can control, stuff like that. Now, the 2 other ones are the 2 most powerful ones, and those 2 are red and orange. Now, the red ability, you're able to, I guess, control fire, but you could breathe out fire out of your mouth. Like a whole bunch of fire just comes out of your mouth like a dragon. So that's pretty much that ability. Like the red ability is not really shown much throughout this entire film. That's the only one that they don't really show a lot. It only shows up pretty much once, and that's towards the end. Yeah, so, but it is one of the most rarest ones that you could get within, the movie, of course. And then you have the orange one. Now, the orange one is the most rare. And if the powers that be captures a kid who's orange, they pretty much get 86. They pretty much get killed because, like I said, that is the most powerful and that is the most rare. And the main character of this movie is an orange type. And with the orange, you basically get mind control powers. You touch people. You could manipulate people's thoughts. You could put certain thoughts into people's heads. You could look into a person's past. You could erase yourself from somebody's past. Well, the main character had that ability. Like she had the ability to erase herself from other people's memories. And I think she's the only one that had it because one of the other characters in the movie, he was also an orange, and he basically said that that ability, that particular ability is pretty rare in orange types. So I'm pretty sure is the main character had that certain ability. But yeah, so you have this disease, and then you have these kids, and these kids get rounded up into these children camps by the government. So when they get rounded up into these camps, they're pretty much doing slave labor. It's almost like jail for children, man. It's pretty much messed up. And you know, the main character, she gets broken out by somebody who was working in the children's camp as like a nurse, but she's also running another program she's running like a rescue program to rescue these kids out of the camps, because she knows what these camps are all about. Because when these camps are advertised to the masses, they're not telling them the truth. They're giving them, you know, this false narrative of these camps being like child reform, but it's really not. So you have this undercover nurse who is working on the underground to get these kids out. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but yeah, I do like that premise of, you know, just these kids who have certain abilities and yeah, stuff like that. Another, I guess that's like the one driving force that makes this movie good, because there are a few things that are bad about this movie, but the one thing that I did like is that whole premise of, you know, you just have this major outbreak that affects children, and kids are getting taken. And not to say that I don't support that at all, like, but I just like dystopian type movies, because it really tells you what's really going on in real life, man. Like these movies sometimes almost like an imitation of real life. You know what I mean? Like a lot of movies, they tell you what's going on in these movies, what's really going down. And I feel like, you know, this is one of those type of movies, man. And I think that's why I enjoyed it the most, because I think I'm gonna go into my bad here. There's quite a few stuff that are bad. Like the acting to me is terrible. I didn't like some of the main characters in this movie. I don't know, man. They can't really. The main character, she wasn't that bad. I guess out of everybody who was in the movie, I guess she did the best job. But even her, she didn't really do that much of a good job. But compare her with the rest of the cast, she outshined the most, and you care about her the most. Well, makes sense because she is the main character, so you got to care about the main character the most. But she, you know, when she gives emotion, it's believable. You know what I mean? Every other character is just so, man. They just can't act, man. They just can't. Like I'm looking at the movie, and I'm just, you know, looking at some of these, you know, just listening to the dialogue and listening to how just boring and just wooden some of these characters sound. It's just like, oh, you know what I mean? So the acting is not really good at all in this movie. Also, too, another good thing about this film is the pacing. I did like the pacing. Well, there is certain parts where it's kind of like boring, but it's not. It don't drag on for too long. You know, things always happen. Something interesting, you know, pretty much always happen. The action, you know, the action is decent enough. It's not going to blow you away. It's, you know, this film feels like it was like a Disney movie. Like it was a made-for-TV Disney film, but just like one level up. You know what I mean? If Disney was to produce a movie and put it on TV, this felt like the movie. One of those kind of like made-for-TV kids movies that you will see on the Disney Channel. But like I said, it's not as cheesy as a lot of those Disney movies are. It's taken a little bit more seriously than those other ones. and is a little bit more better produced than the cheesy, Disney movies that we all grew up on. You know what I mean? But this it has that sort of feel. It kind of feels like a cheaper version of your movies like Hunger Games and Divergent and The Maze Runner, those type of like those teen novel kind of movies where it's taken from a popular book that attracts younger audiences. I don't know if this was from a book, but it kind of like played like that. It kind of like the movie felt like this was taken from a book because it's like one of those, like I said, Maze Runner, Divergent, Twilight, those type of teeny novel kind of films. So like I said, the story of itself is his strong suit to me. That's what kept me interested. That's what kept me entertained. The acting is pretty bad. There were some minor plot holes and stuff that just didn't really make no sense to me. Like there was this one scene where, the main character, she gets broken. She breaks out of the children's camp due to another person, helping her to break out, and a group of other, younger kids who also broke out. They go into this hotel. Now, kids, they're supposed to be in camps. You know what I mean? So my thing is, if the kids are like, they're pretty much like most wanted. They're not supposed to be out in public, because if they're out in public, they're gonna get caught. Because you have like these group of people called tracers, which is almost like bounty hunters. And if their jobs is to hunt down whatever kids they see out in the open. So how are they able to go into this hotel without being caught? Unless the main character did some kind of mind control, but they didn't show that. It just showed that these kids were able to, break away, and it was able to drive off into some hotel out in the outskirts. But if you have adults running this hotel, pretty much they're going to see kids entering it. So wouldn't that alarm like the people who's running the hotel? And like I said, that didn't make sense to me. Like how, you know what I mean? But I could look past that, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much it for this movie. It's not really anything else I had to say. So like I said, just to wrap up my thoughts, the story of itself I found pretty good. I think that's what made me like the movie. That was the one thing that kept me entertained, because I did like the premise. I did like, that overall plot of, having certain abilities and stuff, and going into these camps and all that stuff, man. And like I said, there are bad things in this movie. The characters are not that great. Even the main character, she is the best one out of all, but even her, she's not that strong of a lead. And all the supporting cast are not that great at all. So I don't know if I could recommend this to... I mean, I could recommend it to some people. If you like movies like The Hunger Games, you like movies like Maze Runner, if you like those type of teen novel type films, you know what I mean? You may like this. You may like this movie. I would just say don't really take it that seriously. If you have nothing to watch, you want to watch some kind of like dystopian, movie where you have kids who have certain abilities and they get, taken away and stuff, then this is the movie for you. You know what I mean? If you like movies like Disney Channel type movies, like those cheesy Disney Channel type movies, you may enjoy this one, because like I said, it plays like a Disney, like the acting of itself, it just reminds me of a Disney movie, like those cheesy live action Disney films that you will see on the Disney Channel. But like I said, the production level is like a step above those movies. So I think that's going to be pretty much it. Like I said, this one pretty much caught me by surprise. I did like it, even though it had a few issues with it. But for what it was, I liked it. I liked it, man. So that's going to be it. Stay tuned for our next one. I don't know what that one is going to be. I'm going to search around. I try to find movies that not nobody talks about a lot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen yet that everybody just, talks about. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get to them one day, but it's like, I'd rather watch something that I haven't heard anybody talk about. You know what I mean? That's just me. That's just the type of person I am. I like to, I don't like to do what the crowd does. I like to, I like to be different. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, man, I'm gonna close this one out. And until my next one, man, I still don't have an outro, but I'm out.